Let's study for quiz 3 in Econ. Let's do our vocabulary first. Consider the first and lowest level of stocks. Penny stocks. Probably the safest investment. Corporations can withstand a downturn in the economy. Blue chip stocks. The most basic stock a company will issue. It carries higher risks than other stocks. Common stock. The owners of this type of stock will collect their dividends first before the owners of common stock. Preferred stock. A share of profits received by a shareholder. Dividend. A financial return that has a set limit. Fixed dividend payment. A dip in the market. A downturn. The act of a company selling stock. Issue. The activity of the day before. The highest price and lowest price of the stock, along with the closing price at the end of the business day, will be noted on the stock page as blank. High, low, and close. The amount of stocks that were traded on the previous day. Volume. The change of the price of the stock from the previous day. Net change. Price-earnings ratio relationship between price of company stock and earnings a company makes in an entire year. The P/E ratio. A 1 to 4 character grouping that makes up a nickname for the company. Symbol. True or false? When you see the volume figure, you are looking at the amount of stocks that were traded on the previous day. True. The volume number is given in the blank. Okay, it's given in the hundreds. So if you want to get the actual number of stocks traded, simply multiply the volume number by 100. The 52 weeks high and low will tell you about the blank of a stock. If the numbers show little difference between each other, there is less risk of loss, but there is also less opportunity for gain either. Volatility. True or false? If you see a wide margin between the high and low numbers, you can tell that there will be a smaller risk than with other stocks that have a large difference between their numbers in that column. False. By looking at the net change, you can see the change of the price of the stock from the previous blank. You can learn whether the price has been rising or dropping. Day. Look closely at the volume number. If any blank is shown before the number, the volume is not given in hundreds, but is the actual number of stocks traded. Z. True or false? Volatility gives you an idea of the risk and profit potential of that particular stock. True. There is more risk of a blank stock, and the gains and losses of a company directly affect it. You get a high chance of making a profit with it. What kind of stock am I referring to? Common. True or false? The S&P list contains the 500 largest publicly held companies. True. True or false? NYSE symbols are usually 4 or more letters. False. True or false? Common stock is a type of stock that is the safest you can purchase. False. True or false? Your portfolio is all of the various stocks or bonds that you, as an investor, hold. True. True or false? Standard & Poor's 500 is a type of stock index favored by professionals because it includes a far wider range of public companies than the Dow Jones Industrial Average does. True. True or false? A preferred stock is a financial return that has a set limit. True. True or false? First, all the common stock in a company must be issued. Then the company will begin to issue preferred stock. True. True or false? Your portfolio is all the various stocks or bonds your broker cannot allow you to purchase. False. A share of profits received by a shareholder is called a blank. Dividend. Give the two examples provided that represent a blue chip stock. AT&T and Boeing. True or false? The AMEX stock symbols usually have 3 letters. True. A dip in the market. Downturn. Consider the first and lowest level of stocks. Penny stocks. One who believes the outlook for the market or stock is down. Bear. The owners of this type of stock will collect their dividends first before the owners of common stock. Preferred stock. The risk and profit potential of a particular stock. Volatility. Volatility of a stock, greater the margin between the two numbers, greater the risk to gain or lose, is called what? "52 weeks high and low." A 1 to 4 character symbol that is kind of like a nickname for the company. A symbol. A share of profits received by a shareholder. A dividend. tells you how much of the price of the stock you will be paid in dividends by the end of the year. Percent yield. Price-earnings ratio. Relationship between price of company stock and year's earnings. The P/E ratio. The amount of stocks that were traded on the previous day. Volume. The activity the day before, the highest price and lowest price of the stock, along with the closing price. High, low, and close. The change of the price of the stock from the previous day. Net change. A price-earnings ratio is figured out by calculating the relationship between the price of the company's stock and the blank a company makes. Earnings. A price-earnings ratio is figured out by calculating the relationship between the price of the company's stock and the earnings the company makes in the entire blank. It is figured out by dividing the closing price of the stock by the earnings per share of each stock. It's referring to how much the company makes in the entire blank. Year. When reading the 52 weeks high and low, the greater the blank between the two numbers, the greater the blank for the stock to gain or lose money for the investor. Okay, the greater the gap, the greater the risk. Go through and study this. Make sure you know it before you take your quiz. And then study your quizzes to help you study for your test.